Hello, good evening, and welcome. My name is Mike Moritz, and the name of this presentation is Ranking the Songs of the Eurovision Song Contest 2005, open brackets, an opinionated guide. Now, YouTube analytics tell me that I need to hook you in quickly, so this year is pretty good. I have a lot to say about it. It's not what I'd call an all-time classic, but consistent quality with a wide range, nothing real samey. I had fun. It also has one of my favourite songs in the contest and one of the worst ones I've heard in this series. How's that for a hook algorithm? Okay, so 2005 takes us to Kyiv in Ukraine after their first win with Wild Dances. And we're just on the cusp of the peak silliness era, but I was surprised how straight everyone's playing it this year. The male host is a particular delight. He has this dry, almost bored affect that is just delightful. Makes a change from that Austrian goofball who felt like he was only there because his mum said that, he's got to attend as well. I like the stage. Not too big, but with platforms and screens that allow for some interesting staging, as we're a few years off from the LED walls that they love in recent contests. And as someone who enjoys the voting, I did like all of the individual reportings of the scores, though I will admit that taking up almost half of the show is a bit silly, and it's good that they cut it down in the following years. Okay, so overview over. Let's get down to the biscuits. This presentation will consist of all 39 songs ranked relative to the other songs in this contest, from my least favourite to my most favourite. The rankings are based on how much I generally want to listen to a song, or how much I recommend that you do. These rankings are influenced on things by, like, my genre preference, the quality of the music, the quality of the songwriting, and stage performance. A bad song that I find interesting will generally rank higher than a technically proficient song that I find boring. The top 10 will all get points as per the traditional 12, 10, and then 8 through 1 system. This allows me to track country trends over time, which I do over all the contests, and then with regard to their respective decades. You'll see what I mean at the end. So, awaken yourself. What am I supposed to do with the slogan of awakening? That's not a slogan, that's a branding theme. Prepare for an awakening. It's the Eurovision Song Contest, Kyiv 2005. Number 39, Germany. Run and hide. More like, you'd better run and hide from this song. Ha ha ha! Let it not be said that I give the land of my ancestors flowers without criticism, because this one sucks. It is a rule of thumb around here that if a song causes me to flinch while I'm listening to it, it ends up at the bottom, and this one is horrendous. You'd think, you'd better run and hide, is just her whiffing the live show. But no, it's bad on the studio version. With the opportunity to do retakes, they thought, you'd better run and hide, was acceptable. Like, or worse, that's just the best she could do. Do you know how many people would have to sign off on this to get to the Eurovision stage? And this is Germany, so add 17 additional levels of bureaucracy. Is there any point talking about the music? Alright, fine. It's a standard sort of rock with electro song that were endemic on the radio at the time, and not a one gets remembered. Track 15 on Now That's What I Call Music, Spring 2005 sort of material. And it has to be spring because there is no world in which this is a song of the summer. The entire team had better run and hide for me after this. Got a double. Number 38. Portugal. Now, I would request that they vocalize a little bit more, but I've heard the studio version and I realize that the breathy vocalizing is clearly by design. This is how they wanted it to sound. You can only blame mic issues so far. Which leads us to the assumption that the yelled chorus was also intentional. Now, I don't mind a yelled chorus, case in point, Eins, Zwei, Drei. But if you remember that episode, I thought that was a bad part of that song, and it's no better here, albeit a little more tuneful. I'm not sure what Portugal was going for here. I would say that they should have stuck with what they're good at, but then I remember I didn't like Rosa, and I did like Love Is On My Side, so who knows what I'm on about. Maybe there are no cops. Uh, while this song doesn't induce physical pain in me, it's not a pleasant listen. The two vocalists clash, and the hook itself doesn't really inspire me to read deeper into the text. I think I can never listen to this song again and not feel like my life is missing something. Number 37 is Island with the song Love. Now, many a great song has been presented at Eurovision on the topic of love. Waterloo presented it as grim inevitability. Arcade was a tale of melancholic heartbreak. Amar pelos dois was fragile and intimate. But they all had a perspective. They all had something to say. All Island has to add to the conversation is, and I quote, "Love can make you happy. Love can make you cry. Love can be the best until it's passed you by." Really overwhelming us with sagacious insight there. Look, it's Eurovision. You can write about anything. You could write about birds, or just a bird, or some guy named Tom Pilliby. The possibilities are endless. And those are all from the first 5 contests, before even Finland joined. The most damning part of the whole enterprise is that they have a highly incongruous Irish dance break that doesn't fit in any way with the song. They have nothing, the tank is empty. Bambi Thug is 20 years away, so let's dredge up that one thing that people still like from 11 years ago, the last time Ireland did anything culturally impactful on the zeitgeist. Guys, if you have nothing to say, no one is forcing you to be here. Number 36. The Netherlands. My Impossible Dream. Now, I can't imagine anyone was clamouring for off-brand Whitney Houston in 2005, but I suppose the talent shows were really kicking into gear around this time, so there was market for this splurge, but here? I don't know, I don't see it. Especially seeing as how after a promising first verse where she is breaking up with her partner, it just descends into vague self-affirmation. Sorry to get all self-referential here, but I'm 11 episodes in now. Now, in 1965, Kathy Kirby sang I Belong, and while it was a little vague, it was a clear self-empowerment anthem, and I understand where she's coming from and why she's feeling good now. But what is the impossible dream, Glennis? You're talking about how important this impossible dream is, but what is it? Are you saving Laika from dying in space? No, wait. Can you tell me why that Lithuanian guy keeps crying in my dreams? Because he won't tell me. Number 35. Belgium. Meaningless piffle. This I am sounding nonsense from a musical that closed in rehearsals is possibly worse than the songs lower than this one on this list because it is boring. Wheeling out the Bryan Adams guitar from their 1995 entry, this piece is only successful in the sense that I do not wish to extract my ear bones with a dessert fork. Now listen to these lyrics. Tonight, all these looks, there is dark, there in the dark, fear and hope. Tonight, it's not too late to believe in dreams of glory. It's just more of the same empty guff. And this bit. Tonight, it's my turn at last to have as a Sunday a revenge and the... Wait. Revenge on a Sunday? Oh, dear Lord. This is about Eurovision, isn't it? This is about how Eurovision is the big night, le grand soir, and he's gonna slay. No, old boy, you never escaped Wednesday. No Sunday celebrations for you. You came 36th. Turns out I actually marginally like you more than Europe did. Number 34 is the United Kingdom with Touch My Fire. Ah, here it is. Now, if you were to ask me what I associate this era of the contest with, it is ethno-pop. This was the triple of Turkey, Ukraine, and Greece's wins, all with female-sung dance pop with clear, local-sounding elements. And so I expected this year to have a lot of it. For this to come from the UK of all places surprised me. Now, 2005 is nestled cleanly halfway between two famously mimetic failures for that delegation in 2003 and 2007, so swinging for the cheap seats in an all televote contest makes sense. A shame then that it isn't good. It sounds vaguely Near Eastern. I wasn't able to find any family history about Javine as a singer, so I can't say if it's appropriating a hip sound like, say, Holly Valance with her cover of Kiss Kiss. Leaving that one through to the keeper, Touch My Fire is just a badly written song. The scansion is bad. From Your Head to Your Toe is the worst. The music isn't that engaging other than keeping the energy going. And worst of all, it doesn't even sound that British. Now, I'm not asking for Morris dancing to a trap beat. Actually, no, I am asking for Morris dancing to a trap beat, but I would have easily thought that this was Turkish. But for number 33, Turkey. No one beats the Turks at Turking, whether it's building a man boat in 2012 or proving that disco is cool in 1982. You can't school them on these vaguely Southwest Asian sounding beats. This one actually reminds me of what it was like watching Intervision. In that I had to do a deep dive on each country's musical traditions in order to get what their offering was. And if there's a subculture of musical melodrama in Turkey, this song kind of makes me want to do a deep dive on that. It's a shame then that Rimi Rimi Lay feels like a song that gears into second and then just kind of cruises. It locks into a groove and then never really develops or builds, just dropping the beat out and then bringing it back in for drama. The staging is aggressively Turkish, and I can't decide that it's a solid groove, but this is not the Eurovision Groove Contest. If it were, top 10 easy. Number 32, Serbia and Montenegro. You know, we're running out of countries that I haven't covered in this show. Serbia and Montenegro only competed 3 times. Once as the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, and twice as Serbia and Montenegro before breaking up into their constituent countries. So, by count, we're a third done with their entries. Now, No Name are a Montenegrin boy band, and look, ever since I watched K-pop Demon Hunters, I am convinced that all boy bands are out to steal my soul. This act is not helping. Right? The dramatic and arch boom, boom, boom melody is far removed from the poppy boy bands of my youth, and the ominous red and black staging definitely thinks of the climax of that film. It's all very confronting and uncomfortable. And then we have the lyrics. Their love, where the bells toll, you will forever be mine alone. The song's literally called Forever Mine. We just need a can I get the mic a little higher? And this is basically Balkan Soldier Boys. Number 31, Romania. And the Romanians are coming from me now. Now, for context, this is one of the Romanian Trinity. The highest that they've ever ranked is 3, and it's happened 3 times. 2026 is Choke Me, 2010's Playing with Fire, and this one. And I'll be honest, the other 2 were easy to get into my top 10s for their respective years without even breaking a sweat. And this one just, no. I tried. By gum, I tried. They let me try. And no. I don't know why industrial percussion on barrels and stuff was this cool, edgy hotness, but it just kind of feels odd to me. The angle grinding to give them some unique pyro was cool, if only it was done by a robot. Then it could be really memorable. The vocals are stretched to the limit of her range, and it's not as bad as Germany, but the lyrics aren't engaging. Yeah, they're doing percussion on barrels. It's all a bit ho-hum. I wouldn't have even liked dancing to this at the club, and I actually was going to the club in 2005. It just feels very, I don't know, wrong somehow. Club banger was the wrong genre for the lyrics of Emotional Desperation. Maybe if it was a ballad or a rock song, I could connect more with this piece, but sorry, Romania. We'll always have Choke Me. Number 30, Finland. Why? Not even Finland is safe from the hangman's noose. I'm the hangman in this show, and the noose is okay. Never mind. The point is that this song sucks. Like, I get he's trying to go for deep and profound. Will we ever find the answer? Why can't love be all that matters? While we try to understand that faith and hope are slipping through our hands. And as for someone who, and I'll be honest with here, struggles with depression sometimes, see my 2023 video for more on this topic, I find I listen to this this introspective pontificating and I say, eat my ass. These songs work in Eurovision when they are personal. Last episode we looked at Germany's Ein bisschen Frieden, which was just one person saying, look, I can't do spit, but I'll do something. And it works, you know. Oh, the violence and the sadness. Oh, gag me with a spoon. This universalist garbage is nothing. Or what if we chose to bury our guns? Or, you know, a million voices. Or what for are we living? Only Mr. God knows why. You know, like, can't someone write a meaningful song? Like, bring back Cabaret from 1974. Now there's a song. Number 29, Bulgaria. Okay, now here's hoping that this will earn back what Bulgarian guff I copped from putting Bungarunga at number 19. Because let me tell you, the comment sections of Lorraine are filthy, with Bulgarians reading the heck out of this song. Bulgarian Eurovision fans hate this song. As I understand it, Cafe admitted to buying up thousands of phone cards to tilt the national final in their favour. And please remember, this is the first Bulgarian entry. I have not seen a single Bulgarian say they like this song. And why should they? It's not very good. And to speak in its defense, I love the groove. It's bluesy and jazzy. It'd fit well on one of those world music CDs that we had at the time, like it'd be called like Rainy Cafe, and the cover is like a table with two cappuccino cups and a rainy window looking out to a street in like France or Italy. We have, however, established that this is not the Eurovision Groove Contest. And you may also notice that I'm on a lyrics kick this episode, so let me quote. You've got to know that harder the rain, sweeter the pain, I can still remember Lorraine in the rain. Not only do they rhyme rain with rain, making this the second time in the contest that I know of that someone did this, they rhyme Lorraine with rain. My friends, that is 3 of the rhymes in this 4-line chorus that are the same syllable. Pain and rain are a fire and desire rhyme. The writing here is painfully bad. You know, I'm overjoyed to find out that this song was, according to my research, the subject of rigging because a song this pain fills me with disdain as I wash Lorraine down the drain. Number 28. Okay, let's talk about it. In this show, I like to poke fun at the claim that Eurovision is not political. In my opinion, it is a thought-terminating argument. Take 2024. People claim that something like Doomsday Blue is politicizing the contest, while we have Ukraine showing them being under a rain of fire, and Israel wanting to send a song called October Rain. Or how about 2015? France sends N'oublie pas, a song about the scars of war that they suffered 100 years on. And Russia sends A Million Voices, a song about global unity, while Ukraine is notably not in attendance. Meanwhile, Armenia is forced to rename the songs about the tragedies their people suffered, also 100 years ago, and then Ukraine wins the contest the following year with a song about the equally historical Crimean diaspora, but unexpected to change everything. But you know, Eurovision isn't political. Now, I'm not on a pro or anti side of any of these arguments. I'm not smart enough or educated enough to form a cohesive and informed opinion. The stamp exists to point out that the contest has always been political, going back to when Fud Leclerc mourned Belgian dock workers in 1956. But this song, more than any other song that I've discussed, it just always felt wrong for me. It's up there with Insieme 1992 in terms of intentional political posturing that the EBU just ignores. Now, if you don't know, this was the anthem for the Orange Revolution, the Ukrainian movement in 2004. I'm not a history channel and I feel like I've waffled enough, but they had to rewrite the lyrics because they directly shouted out President Yushchenko. I've seen official Eurovision documentaries where Ruslana proudly talks about how they sent the anthem of the revolution to represent the country. And no, this isn't a case like 2022 where a song about a mother became symbolic for what Ukraine was going through at the time. No, this is explicitly "Together we are many, we cannot be defeated." This is explicitly a song about politics, and everyone is just okay with that, apparently. I hate double standards, is my point. Anyway, this song is fine. The guitar is crunchy, the rap flow sounds good to my ears, at least it's specific in its messaging and honest about it, better than the other songs I've talked about so far in this list. Damn it, now I'm all grumpy and I have no desire to be. Can we get something nice sounding but otherwise underwhelming next? Number 27. Yes, very good. Very good. I'll be the sunshine when you're feeling blue. I'm always here for you. I couldn't have summed it up better myself. The last line, the top-up, the summation of the song's thesis comes like an afterthought. Like they wrote 3 banger lines and like, I'm always here for you. It doesn't scan well, and she has to pad out the line in order to fit the music. Look, it's fine, and the bridge, like it's pretty and well sung, but as I said at the jump, bad songs that I find interesting are going to rank higher than good songs I find boring, and this is a well-crafted ballad that I think would do well on Maltese Idol or whatever, but it's not anything that I would ever willingly spin up. I do like the bridge though. Number 26. Albania. Well, this one, bit of a surprise. It's been a running gag on this show that I find the Albanian entries overly dramatic and difficult to engage with personally. But, okay, Tomorrow I Go has that, and also presents an ethno-pop girl dance piece with traditional Albanian drama. And I actually like what this one is doing. The song, as I understand it, is a daughter singing to her mother, already a classic Albanian topic at Eurovision, on the eve of her wedding. Tomorrow I go. Not because she's leaving the relationship, but because she's going to become a bride, be a wife, and she's going to form her own family. And she's saying, we always talked about this, Mum, like, be happy for me, and because it's Albania, it's tonally complex. But in this instance, I really get it, like, the melancholy of the mother and the happiness of the daughter, like, they conflict to make an almost apprehensive dance piece. Like, maybe I'm completely off base here, but that's what I took from the piece, and it's definitely a more engaging girl bop than some of the others in the field. Like, it's a thinking person's girl bop than, some of the other notorious ones that Eurovision has presented to us over the years. Number 25, Cyprus. The boys can do it too, y'all. Konstantinos. Take this as affectionate when I call this a boy bob. Because you could do a pronoun swap and this song works just as well as a girl bob. I was starting to worry that my preconceptions of this area as being filthy with ethnopop was incorrect, but no, it's here. It's just doing something else. This is definitely something that I would expect from Greece or Cyprus. Definitely sharing a DNA with the post-Fuego girl bops that Cyprus sent, and a little bit of the swagger I loved in 1995's Stifortia. Maybe that's why this one doesn't really land for me, because Cyprus is in their safe zone. Like, 2024's Liar was a clean perfection of the form, and Stifortia had that rising feeling of overcoming adversity, whereas Ella Ella is just, hey baby, you want to do a sex? And it's just not enough for me. Also, no, sorry, I do not want to do a sex, so you're not my type. Number 24, Belarus. Lest you forget that this is an opinionated guide and I make no claims about objective quality. Open brackets, TM, close brackets. Case in point, Belarus. When I think of Belarus, I don't immediately think of the great entries like Story of My Life or Help You Fly. I think of the weird cringe of Butterflies or their obvious clear peak. I love Belarus. And Love Me Tonight is firmly in the I Love Belarus camp, in that it is a mess. The jangly guitar opening, the rising energy into this horribly dated 90s disco, the vocal with its slightly off-key meandering around the melody and odd exertions in lieu of passion, not to mention the metric tons of unnecessary vibrato. It's perfect. How can anyone say that this is not beautiful? I would never willingly choose to listen to this. But my God, this is a work of art. Number 23, Latvia. Fine, we can talk about one of your songs now. This is toothless. More vague anti-war nonsense. But this is not just love, love, peace, peace. It's a little more biting than it would seem. It's pulling back the curtain and saying that all the messes we're dealing with don't go away just because someone signs a piece of paper. The work of peace is an ongoing thing that requires vigilance, and a lack of complacency is actually a surprisingly deep theme when sharing a stage with Lorraine in the Rain. It's a shame then that the music is so nothing, and it's almost like a lullaby. Oh, that's a real lullaby, 2003, not whatever we had in your contest. Sorry, 2023. Now that I think about it, it's an odd choice to go for something so gentle. That is, the message is a little more pointed. And it's kind of transgressive in a way. I know the first time I heard it, I wrote it off completely, only later appreciating it when I sat down and really listened to it. Number 22 is Spain with Brujeria. Now imagine my surprise when I, the man who has this whole bit about the 2020s being full of witchcraft, is presented with a song literally called Witchcraft. Coincidence or providence? The biggest surprise was that this sounds uncannily like the Ketchup song, which is doubly weird considering that Las Ketchup are literally the Spanish entrant in 2006. You know, the strong Spanish 3-part female harmonies, the rapid fire flow, the wicked hook with summer party jam energy. It's almost identical, except it's not as good. A Set of Hair was a wicked good hook, which, if you didn't know, is just rapper's delight translated into Spanglish, Ken Lee style. And all the original writing can't emulate one of early hip-hop's timeless hooks. I like the guitar, which is aggressively cool, but the random guy yelling, ya la la la, rapping the bridge doesn't really augment the piece for me. It may be brujeria, but they're getting the evil eye from me for not achieving their full potential. it's a little joke there. Number 21 is Denmark, Talking to You. Mediocre white boy reggae is still reggae, and as a proud scar boy, I have no choice but to stan. Unless it's UB40. I hate UB40. But Jacob isn't UB40, so the only way is up. I have very little to say about this one, which is perhaps apropos as we near the centre of the list. A regression towards the mean implies that what we have at this point should, in an average year, be the most inoffensive milquetoast entries. When I first watched this, my chat and I had good fun skewering this piece for just having nothing, which is also a boon in a way. Talking to You is a pleasant enough listen, but it feels inherently averse to doing anything that might be interesting or memorable. C. Maybe a C+. Number 20. France. This, the song this puts me most in mind of is Il me donne rendez-vous from 1995. That was a top 5 for me, and this is number 20, so that should show how I feel about 1995. I don't actually know why it reminds me of that song, though. 1995 was jazzy and a little sexy, and this one is more of a girl bop with French gloss. Which is odd, seeing as how the song seems to be a takedown of solipsism. The French, am I right? Ain't nothing the French can't turn into an artistic statement. Can't you just talk about the size of his Tour d'Eiffel or putting it in your Arc de Triomphe like a normal singer? No, you have to give us a head bopper about discarding our doubts on the road of life. What even is this year? I don't have a grand thesis or easy button I can put on it. 2005 just is. That's all I have. And, France's song is surprisingly catchy. I think I'd rather listen to 1995 slinky jazz vibes than whatever this is. Number 19. Croatia. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to do 2012 early is so I can cite Nie Lubav Cva as the gold standard of ballads that I judge all other ballads in Eurovision by. And while I love Croatia in the 2020s, this is more of the, it's alright, vibe I expect from them looking back. Now that being said, this one is pretty damn fine. It's still only in the I'm not seeking it out to listen to bracket, but it's basically everything I want from a Balkan ballad. Intimate, almost whispered vocals that break out into something big and boisterous. And, the lyrics retread some classic Eurovision themes, the utter devastation of heartbreak and also drowning yourself. Okay, so the image is boats floating down the Danube, but I'm never passing up an opportunity to remind you all that drowned men of the Seine exists. The actual imagery du jour is of wolves dying alone. He's abandoned by his pack and now lays down in the snow, alone and forgotten, his soul scattered like leaves in the wind, leaving only an empty hook on the coat rack as a sign he was ever here. Alpha behavior here, you Sigmas could never. But seriously, this slaps. It's striking and heartrending. Those folk vocals really buoy it up. It's not a fun listen, but it's a good listen. It's a sometimes food, this one. Meanwhile, Sweden at 18. Now, I was doing the washing up. No, wait, come with me on this journey. I was doing the washing up, and I was listening to this song, and it reminded me of a very different piece called I Love Sweden by the German band Die Ärzte. Now, in this piece, a man is thinking about how much he loves Sweden, because why wouldn't you? Flowers bloom. Palm trees grow along the beach. There are mangoes growing freely, and on every corner there is an elephant. Now, you may wonder why I thought of this song specifically as how Die Ärzte have a song called Las Vegas. I think it's on the same album too. But the answer is, this is a Swedish song about a place he has no context for anything around it, and I don't know why he's singing it at all. I mean it, why is Sweden singing about Las Vegas in Eurovision? It makes no sense to me. This guy, He absolutely loves Las Vegas. He's creaming himself over it. He's talking about how he's checking into the Mandalay Bay Hotel. He's going on the strip. He's seeing dancing girls and cabarets. This is a tourism ad where it's portrayed like Las Vegas is this magical land where anything can happen and probably will. Much like Die Ärzte talking about Sweden with their elephants and mango trees. This confuses me, but it is utterly charming. The absolute sincerity with which Sweden approaches the Eurovision contest is unmatched. There is no silliness here. Even though the song is the most inexplicable piece in the field tonight, and we've got some wacky ones coming, and lest I forget to mention, Lorraine is still out in the rain. I barely know what to say about this piece. I don't know why it's here. But I'm glad that it is. Number 17, Slovenia. Okay, I want to make it clear, as much as this show is talking about the songs and not the countries, boy howdy do I want to distance my rankings of the songs from the people who sing them. I've already copped heat in my comments for praising someone who I didn't know was a bad person. So I am not going to let it slide for someone who I know for a fact is a convicted felon. Especially what he was convicted of. So, do a Hatsune Miku and not try to focus on the lyrics. He's talking about binding my hands and drowning in your embrace. Omar, fella, you're not helping yourself. Alright. The song. I like its build. It starts off like a slow procession with the guitars rising in prominence. Before the ballad gives way to rock ballad. I quite enjoy the drama of the piece. I like listening to it. I just wish it wasn't him singing. Let's stop and move on. I'm on fire today. Alright, number 16, Andorra. Welcome to the show, Andorra. Oh, and you brought us Catalan. Oh, you shouldn't have. This is delightful. Oh, also, that's Annabel Conde from Spain, 1995. I loved Vuelve Conmigo. Now, if you listen, you can actually make out those wails that take me back to that classic. Let's face it, Spain should have won 1995. But this one, it's all right. Lyrics a little basic. Find beauty in yourself before seeking it in the world. Nice sentiment. But at this point, I'm seeking specificity. It has that kind of nice... I don't even know how to describe it. It's the kind of sound I'd expect to hear on a compilation called Sounds of Spain. Some Andalusian, some Galician, some Catalonian. It's triggering a core memory that I can't quite nail down. I listened to a lot of world music back in the mid-noughties. It's repackaged in a Eurovision rapper, that nice piano bridge, the soaring vocals. It's a shame that the staging was kind of messy and it never quite achieved its full potential. Maybe a different stage director would have really brought it out. Number 15. If the Greek contingent will forgive me for referring to Martin as Macedonian, I will point out that Greece hasn't appeared on this list yet. Deal? Deal. Anyway, the entry from the country that I am legally obligated to call FYR Macedonia brings us, surprise, more ethnopop. I'm confused that this song is actually about a woman. I keep thinking that's about a woman named Layla, because the lyrics are Layla, la, Layla, Anyway. I find this one interesting because, in addition to being a catchy piece of dance pop, this is one of the rare break up with me for God's sake songs. He says that he wants to end it, but hey, my dude, you're still here. This is the beta attitude that Boris from Croatia scoffs at as his body dissolves into dust in the wind like an absolute Chad. I can't think of many songs like this. The "Oh God, I've made a terrible mistake" song. Paradise by the Dashboard Light by Meatloaf? It's a novelty is all I'm saying. Make My Day and what? No, wait. You know what this is? It's the anti-Monaco 1974. You see, there, he's like crying on the floor, whereas here Martin is daring her to walk out. Okay, Martin, you can join the wolf pack that I just decided to form with Boris. Number 14, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Call Me. I need to rip up my man cards now. I enjoy this dated pop cheese. The real shocker is I don't even think this is the best song Feminem sing at Eurovision. I remember really liking Lako Jesve. It's been a while since I re-listened to 2010. This, on the other hand, is very safe and, let's be honest, kind of unimpressive. The kind of 60s and 70s pop throwback we got a lot of in the 90s. And this is 2005. Prince of Persia Warrior Within just came out. We're edgy and cool now. The real shock is that in spite of my hatred of ABBA, I like this. We're still in the never willingly choosing to spin this zone, but Call Me is doing important work amidst the ethno-pop and ever-moistening Lorraines, in that it is a broad genre departure that gives the field a little shine and pizzazz. It's fun, bright, unburdened by complicated emotional themes and politics, and sometimes I really want that. Number 13, Monaco. I'll be honest, I felt bad for Monaco. They aren't in many contests, and it feels like every time they turn up, I never have a good word to say about them. So, I listen to this song a lot, trying to like it. Trying to find a place in my heart for it. Come on, it's 2005. I can like a Monegasque entry. And you know what? I kind of do. It's the fanfare. Like, Angel had its intimate lyrics and horrible hook, but it was very clean and tidy. This one reaches for the nosebleeds, and it got me. It's like an Olympic hymn. Actually, it's like a piece of score from Civilization 6. If you've never played the game, the music develops as the game progresses. So, like, in my case, Australia's music starts off with just like a fiddle and a yidaki, a didgeridoo for foreigners. And then it sort of develops into like a bush band sound. And then it starts sounding like something out of the Sydney Olympics with a orchestra and swelling chords. You know, it makes me cry every time I hear it. And that's what Tu de Moi is doing. Like, it's not saying, I love you. It's saying, my love for you comprises a 7-volume epic fantasy series, and each one is a doorstopper. She would fight gods and ascend to angelhood. So powerful is her devotion. Now, you put that in a Scandi pop song with Max Martin production, and it's, a cringe, but it's a banging tune. But here, in this piece, with this music, it's transcendent. Still a sometimes food, though. But I'll put it on when I play Civilization next. Honourable Mention. Proposed Act. Lebanon. Quand tu s'en fis. Yeah, I bet you didn't see this one coming, because we nearly had Lebanon in the contest. And unlike Tunisia in 1977, we know the song that they were going to send, which just so happens to be one of the best ballads of the year. I don't want to say that this sounds, quote, Middle Eastern or, quote, Levantine in its sound, but there's something in the instrumentation here that sounds very profoundly un-European. Like, France could easily send this song, and it'd do well, but at the same time, there's a quintessence here that I can't put my finger on, and I have to just throw my arms in the air and say, I don't know, Lebanon! I've tried to get my head around the lyrics. It's very poetic, and I understand her mood, but I can't put it into words. That quintessence is the word. It's very melancholic and thoughtful. If I had to draw a long bow on this one, it actually reminds me of a Bond theme. Now, not a Bond theme from one of the movies. No. A Bond theme from one of the games. Like, Nightfire came out a few years before this, and I think that it fits in just as well as Nearly Civilized does as the theme for that game. It's really cinematic and theatrical. You know, I think Lebanon stands as one of the biggest what could have beens in the contest, because this song, it's just stellar. Number 12 is Israel. And while we're on the topic of video games, this one reminds me of Persona 4. I can't quite place it why, but something about the chord progression, the production, and the lyrics discussing love and heartbreak really slots into the specific kind of pop song that Persona 4 has in its soundtrack. Like, this would be a nighttime theme as you sort of walk around the town. Now on Spotify, it's a version that's in full Hebrew, so that's actually the one that I'm most familiar with. But on the night, she sang in Hebrew and English. Now look, I love me a switch to Hebrew in a Eurovision song, but this does not count. It only counts when it's a switch mid-line. Here she just starts singing in English after the first chorus, and that's different. This is really, really pretty though, and the fact it reminds me of a game I enjoy quite a lot, it really helps. But it's just not enough for top 10 for me. Number 11, Greece. I see you there in the comments. My number one is a trash girl bop like Solo and Jala, and you have the worst taste in music. And I mean, like, yeah, when have I ever said that my taste in music isn't cringe? The second album I ever owned was Spice by the Spice Girls. I'm currently establishing a fondness for Dua Lipa. You know, I enjoy pop music. And this is, look, it's fine. I think there's a reason that Greece wasn't the immediate runaway winner once we started getting the points. And it does lack some of the staying power of the previous winner, Wild Dances. The writing is also less than great. You know, she rhymes one with one. You know, you're my lover. Undercover is also a clear target, but I can't hate this. I did wonder if it was worthy of a point, of a point or two, but at the end of the day, my marking criteria are clear. How much do I want to listen to a song? And how much do I think that you should listen to these songs? And as fine exponent of the form as number one is, there are 10 songs that I like more. Let's meet them now. 1 point goes to Iceland. I wanted to like this one more. It was my number 4 at one point, but it's just not quite there. You know, a clear robbery that deserved to make the final. If I Had Your Love weaves its way between pop, dance, and ballad pretty well. I'd love to hear a version with an orchestra, San Remo style. That'd be awesome. I can't even really hammer down on what isn't working for me here. The swelling strings are a good hook, the EDM elements work well, and the vocal performance is good. The staging is a little whatever though, and I can't explain what the hell she has on her head. Sometimes it just ends up being, do I like this? And compared to Greece, I do like it more. And conversely, I like it less than 2 points, Lithuania. Yep, at 9. Give Lithuania its flowers, Europe. Now, you may have noticed a distinct lack of rock in the list so far. Spoilers, they're almost all in the top 10. I mean, of course they are. I'm not about to disqualify the rest of the field and give the rest of the places to that Finnish song from 1980 about the guy who plays the flute real good. No, this is just solid, basic ass rock with dance elements. Nothing fancy to write home about. No one's winning any awards here, but that's not the point. Do I like it? Yes, ma'am, I do. Everything here works. It's a simple romantic lyric, the band acquits itself well, and the main vocal... Well, look, what sells me on a song is If I Believe You. And I believe her that, little by little, she's falling more and more in love. Works for me. 3 points go to Austria, because of course it is. It's Austria. If I'm not giving points to Croatia or Finland, Austria is getting points by default. But yeah, what is this thing? It's a polka yodel hybrid with no rhythm section about a girl who moves to Austria from Cuba, says their dancing sucks, and falls in love with a yodeler. Well, we aren't wanting for specificity in this entry. I am utterly charmed, but more in a, oh, that's so precious for you, than, any drop my dax and praise God Almighty for his gifts to the world. My imagery is getting more and more bizarre in this show. Maybe I need a break. But yeah, this is very odd. Heartwarmingly odd and catchy, but odd. It's wormed its way into my heart slowly as I worked on this episode, but I can't help but recommend it. Maybe watch from a 5-meter distance, though. Through bars. We don't want the yodeling escaping. Oh no. 4 points. I go to Poland, and please don't make me say that song name out loud. Now, my knowledge of polka and this kind of Slavic dance music is limited to a short period in the late aughts where I was a fan of the group Paprika Balkanicus. Now, I'm not flexing for flexing's sake. See, hold on, I'll just gotta take a drink for this bit. See, they had this song called Mitska, which went lie, 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 lie. And this one goes lie, 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 lie. And I'm like, aha! I recognize this music. I don't have to be all lazy songwriting because I have a grounding in this genre that I loved dancing to back in the day. Like, this is music that just makes you want to grab the arms of someone next to you and just dance for the love of dance. As the song itself, it says, fire, wine, and guitars will remove sleep until the morning. Which is more poetic than what I would have said, which is the dancing will continue until morale improves. 5 points. Go to Estonia, and this is the entry that's really going to get me heated, the Discords and the Reddits. Look, I am not here to be the mighty arbiter of what is objective quality TM. I am one man, sharing my personal tastes, and look, if you must have nothing to say, at least say that nothing entertainingly. Let's Get Loud is not here to end the world's hunger, or tear your heart asunder, or teach you about 17th century pirates. It is here to be a brainless, up-tempo party jam that they can play at the blue light discos or put on a Kids Bop record without having to change the lyrics. It's so preteen that S Club is beating it up and stealing its lunch money. It carries a warning for diabetics because it is so saccharine. My dad is probably saying that I can't listen to it, just like he doesn't want me drinking the red Fanta. This is not art. This is a happy meal from Macca's, and the toy is broken. But I still love it though. But hey, if you think that this is disrespectful to the grand musical tradition of Estonia, well, 6 points go to Switzerland. Yes, Estonia's own Vanilla Ninja for Switzerland. We just talked about them in the 2026 video, where they repped for their own country with their song Too Epic to Be True. And man, what a departure. That one was minivan rock writ large. And this, look, I'm not going to say that it's gothic, but with its dark tone and symphonic stabs, it definitely has me wanting to duck out to Kmart for some eyeliner. Is that what I'm talking about? Is it eyeliner? Or am I thinking about mascara? Maybe I'm thinking about mascara. I don't know. I know nothing about makeup. Anyway, my point is that it sounds vaguely goth to me, and I like that in spite of being an alt-rocker. I was listening to The Strokes and Powderfinger at the time. I don't know your scenes and your emos. Like, I adore this song. It's serious and dramatic, and it's dark and it's epic. I'm not choosing Vanilla Ninja over, say, Evanescence, given the choice. But between young Vanilla Ninja in '05 and older Vanilla Ninja in 26, I think I've heard enough to want to hear more. 7 points go to Russia. I was actually wondering what it would take to get Russia points on this show, because I know their stuff through the 2010s, and I was at a point where I'm like, well, we'll always have 2008. You know, Believe isn't a great song, but the last time I watched the 2008 final, it stood head and shoulders above everything else. Luckily, we can keep our boy Dima in our pocket a little while longer, because we've got Natalia here to sing us a merry rock song about the most joyous of topics: American gun violence in schools. Keep telling yourself, people, it doesn't make it any less true. I should really haul this over the coals if I wanted to. Like, Natalia's accent is broad, and how she sings it is pretty all over the place, but it works for me. It feels honest. Like, the wavering voice feels like grief. The guitars weave a line through emo and new metal to settle on an edgy but radio-friendly tone that allows the song to barrel through the topic matter like James Bond in a tank. You know, because the tank chase was in Russia, and this is the Russian entry. It's a reference. Anyway, perhaps best embodied by the title: Nobody Hurt No One. My 3-unit English class self is crying, but I think it works. You know, it's not about the words, it's about the meaning, the soul. All the bad English in the Swedish entries over the years have no excuse, because they're trying to be clean and polished, and this is grungy and sore and pain-riddled, and yeah, school shootings are amongst some of the worst things I can think of, and this just... yeah. Nobody hurt no one. 8 points go to Hungary. Now, no disrespect to Greece and their long overdue win, but if you ask me what should have won, boom, right here. Folk, rock, dance, girl bop, deeply depressing lyrics reflecting a bleak disenfranchisement with the world. A whistle. This song has everything. Seriously, I've talked about 3 Hungarian entries in the show, and 2 of them have been in the top 3, and the third was... well, 1995 exists in its own bubble, where it can't hurt me. Seriously, don't hurt me, world. Don't hug. Don't feel. Your love hurts more. Don't play, world. Let me go if a happy land calls. Like, what are these lyrics? Like, this song was like Israel 1974 for me, where it was an obvious top before I even knew the lyrics. And then when I read them, I'm like, man, this stuff is deep. Like, I'm sad that I live in 2026 and the world that Nox is singing about feels even harsher. But I'm glad that I live in 2026 when I see more people digging into the Hungarian back catalogue and bringing some shine to this classic. I want to live in the world where this one won. 10 points go to Norway. Eurovision is, in a way, a narrative that ignores facts. For instance, whenever I throw up the political stamp, I'm showing how this idea that the contest is apolitical is laughable. Another narrative is that Eurovision didn't have rock in it before Lordi blew the door open in 2006. Now, we've already seen 1974 and 1982, so we know that that isn't true. Hell, I'd argue that Waterloo has more in common with glam rock than straight up pop music. Oh, but what about metal? Well, imagine my ballywell surprise that Norway sends an honest-to-God hair metal song a whole year before Lordi, and yes, this is not the epic metal of Hard Rock Hallelujah or Missa Mi Hetaratsa Star. This is 1980s arena-style hairspray and girls heavy metal, and it is beautiful. My closest contemporary point of reference to this is The Darkness, whose campy look at the 70s and 80s glam gave us songs like I Believe in a Thing Called Love and One Way Ticket to Hell and Back. And Wigwam demolishes them in a road train loaded with hairspray and plum lipstick by one simple reason: honesty. Like, this is not tee-hee hair metal. This is just a good, nay, a great hair metal song. There's no wink to the audience. This is a joke attitude, which is not to say that Wigwam are not a silly or a humorous band. It's just that, at least looking at this song in a vacuum, hair metal is ostentatious enough. You don't need to poke fun at it. You just need to do it, and it's funny enough. And it's perfect. And this song is perfect. 12 points go to Moldova. My boys, my beautiful, beautiful boys, from near and far, young and old, people of all shape, ability, and gender, let me introduce you to the unsung kings of Eurovision, Zdob, Shi, Zdub. 3 times they have represented Moldova in 3 decades. Trenulestul in 2022. So Lucky in 2011. And here in 2005, Bunica Bate Doba. Grandmama beats the drama. Moldova, in their debut entry, plant a flag as the would-be meme kings and queens of contests. From Loca to Soarele și Luna, from My Lucky Day to Viva Moldova, from Hey Mama to Runaway. It all starts here, with a pump-up party jam of the finest musical genre in God's own earth. Third wave ska punk, about a grandmother who gets absolutely plastered on wine and plays the drums. Drunken grandmothers, my friends, only the finest of topics here at the Grand Prix Eurovision de la chanson européenne. Everything about this song is the ultimate version of itself. Jokey folk representation, big party rock anthems, accessible rock band staging for Eurovision that is joking but is not inherently a joke. Eurovision is fun, Moldova says. Come have fun with us. If you wondered where the random grandmother was from In Love, Love, Peace, Peace came from, it wasn't 2012 Russia. No. That's from this one. And if my gushing praise and adoration for this piece wasn't enough, let me go one more. In my 11 episodes, I have talked about many, many songs. Many of them I love, but almost all of them I love in a Eurovision context. Even something like, say, So geht das jede Nacht, I won't ever put on because I like it as a song. I love it because, well, I love it as a Eurovision piece. And I love it for that. But Bunica Bate Doba, I can listen to anytime. I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm driving, I'm gaming. This song transcends my Eurovision bubble to just be one of my favorite songs in this genre. And so, my friends, with a happy heart and an awakened soul, Zdob și Zdub, 12 points. And that, dearest of friends, brings us to the end of our grand tour. We've tapped bases on each of the 8 decades that Eurovision has graced, and it's been a wild ride, but before we get to that, let's do one last review of the noughties. We'll be back soon, but for now, my top 26 songs look like this. Love seeing Andorra and Monaco on the board there. When we return, though, I'll have more to say about the 2000s. The same goes for the points. But we need to drill down and discuss the 11 contests as a whole. Now, in my 2023 video, I said something along the lines of, cha-cha-cha, is there anything that could dethrone it? Now, at the time, that was intended as foreshadowing because my plan was to do 2022 next and Snap was going to supplant it. But you may notice I haven't done 2022 yet. So Cha 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 has been solidly there for the past year. And the question is, does Bonica Bate Topa supplant it? You bet your ass it does. I'm shocked. Stunned, even. It never occurred to me when I chose 2005 to review that it would end up this way. Now, you may also ask, where is Norway? Well, let me explain. So, at number 27 of this board of 26 songs is Choke Me, the Romanian entry from 2026. And In My Dreams is not as good as Choke Me. So, yeah. Anyway, I see 4 Finnish flags in front of me, 2 Czechs, 2 Austrians. Let's erase these doubles and see my top 26 per country. And there they are, sliding in at number 23 below Alexandra's operatic metal masterpiece, Wigwam with In My Dreams. And what's interesting is that this list has 9 of the 11 contests I've reviewed so far represented, with only 1995 and 1965 not represented. So don't say that this is recency bias. Now, when we mash up all the points from those episodes, it looks like this. So Finland still in first place with 51 points, but Austria is closing fast with 47, still far ahead of Luxembourg with 35. Hungary spins onto the left side of the board with 18 points, edging out in front of Ireland on averages in a commanding 11th place. Moldova is in 14th place with 16 points, making its first appearance on the board. And as we do more contests with those delegations, let me just be honest, they're not leaving for a long time. Wigwam gets Norway into 16th place with 14 points all up. Strong showing there, combining with their points from 26 and 74. Iceland and Estonia are re-entering the rankings there, tying with France on 12 points in 21st and 20th place respectively. Poland's Polka Bonanza takes them to 23rd place with 11 points ahead of Switzerland because Switzerland had more songs that sucked. Plucky Latvia is clinging on to the bottom of the board with that 10 points they had from our very first episode. And Belgium down there at 26. Now, Australia is 10 years off joining, so there's not much need to discuss our entries, but I still think Eclipse is just fine. Now, the big question is, does anything beat Zari on the worst list? I've long since asked if anything could be, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I would rather listen to Zari. It's a mess. It's still a mess. And that opening is horrid. But I can at least groove to it a bit. Run and Hide is unforgivable. It is by far the worst song I have listened to on this show. A painful, uncomfortable listening experience that caused my wife to stare at me like someone had dropped a decomposing cat on our doorstep when I was listening to it. In comparison to the ear-piercing crescendos of Run and Hide, Blanca Palomo's Spanish Lullaby is actually soothing. I can't believe it. These songs I have been holding up as horrible and uncomfortable pale in comparison to True Ineptitude. We've got 60 contests left to go. And yet, 2005 was a great way to end up this block of episodes. I found some songs I'd never heard about that I enjoyed greatly. I've made some wonderful new friends from talking about it, and I've gained a deeper appreciation for one of my favourite songs in the contest's history. I'm going to be taking a bit of a break for now. I have some other projects I want to be working on, but I'll be back later this year for another block of song reviews. I'm aiming to coincide with Eurovision Asia, but if I get them done earlier, they'll drop earlier. Feel free to check out the puzzle videos I've started doing. It's a Eurovision Wordle-like called Play Doos, and I do plan on getting back to streaming. I'll put all my social links in the below. Anyway, until next we meet, be it months from this going live or simply in the next video in the playlist, my name has been and remains Mike Moritz. Good night, and take care.